Hey there, Tim here from Rockout Videography again. I have here the cheapest guitar-based headphone amp I could find on Amazon. We're going to talk about why you may want one of these gizmos, when and where it's useful, talk about how I use these kinds of headphone amps, compare this one to the original Vox bass amp plug, and talk about my experiences with this specific amp made by Joyo so you can decide if this headphone amp is the right choice for you. Unless you're completely new to all this, you know that you can't just plug the quarter-inch male end of a pair of headphones into the quarter-inch output of an electrical instrument and listen to yourself play. But why is this? It's because the very low signal strength created by the pickups in your instrument aren't powerful enough to drive the speakers in a set of headphones. Whenever you plug into an amplifier, it first goes into a preamp to increase the signal strength. If you want to listen to your instrument through a pair of headphones, you need to boost that signal with a preamp. The very first headphone amplifier made specifically for guitar is probably the legendary Rockman invented by Tom Schultz of the band Boston. This effect module is what created the unique guitar tones we hear on those albums and also came with a headphone output. A modern version of these units is still being produced today. Most of the bass and guitar amps these days have a 3.5mm aux in and some kind of headphone out that you can use to practice quietly. However, even this Joyo mini bass amp, as small as it is, isn't the most convenient solution, as I discovered. In 2008, Vox released their Amplug series of compact headphone amps. I've had this Amplug bass unit for about 10 years now and really appreciate the convenience and portability this thing provides. I've been using it for my home practice and also take it with me on long vacations. On one of our trips to Disneyland years ago, I used it to occupy myself for a couple hours while I used the hotel laundry room. These things can obviously fit in your pocket or your case or gig bag. I've used mine to warm up before performing, and being able to play just about anywhere at any time is really cool. These headphone amps are designed to plug directly into the quarter-inch output jack of your guitar or bass, and they work really well that way, especially when you're trying to minimize what you're carrying around, like when you're on vacation. A clip-on headstock tuner is a great companion to one of these since they tend to be small in size. However, I tend to use mine at home with my DIY practice stand or sitting on a table or desk with it plugged into a tuner. It's just easier since I need somewhere to place my phone for backing tracks and I need to tune up before I play. So if I have an original Vox amp plug, why did I buy this cheap Joyo version? I lost my amp plug. I knew it was just misplaced, not lost forever, and I did recently find it, but trying to use the Joyo mini bass amp as a headphone amp just didn't give me the convenience I was used to. I didn't want to spend the money on another amp plug as a temporary solution, so I went looking for the cheapest headphone amp I could find on Amazon and came up with this. The Joyo JA03B headphone amp has the same controls as the amp plug, just orientated in different places. The aux and headphone inputs have been switched and moved, and the on-off switch is also in a different location. The case is shaped slightly different with the corners kind of rounded off, but it's otherwise the same size as the amp plug. It also takes two AAA batteries, just like the amp plug. This unit lacks some of the added features of the newest versions of the amp plug and seems to be more like my older version. One of the things I noticed is that the volume output of the Joyo isn't as high as the amp plug. I've seen some reviews on Amazon where people stated that this amp isn't loud enough. Since I usually use Extreme Isolation EX29 headphones, I have no trouble hearing myself play. If you have crappy headphones that don't go over your ears, this could be a problem for you if you're trying to play in a noisy environment. Wired earbuds or my AKG HP40 headphones work okay, but not as well as my EX29s. So how does it sound? Keep in mind that how my bass sounds through this amp with my headphones is not the way your bass is going to sound through your headphones. However, there is a demonstration I can perform. If you would real quick, please do me a favor and subscribe to the channel for more audio, video, and music content. You can help us reach our subscriber goal. We also have a merch store where you can get yourself a nerdy t-shirt like this one. So here's what I set up to try and show you what this sounds like. So I'm going into a tuner here. It's just easier that way to plug the headphone amp into a tuner than into my bass down here. From there, I'm taking the headphone out into the line-in of our Zoom L8. Now here's the funny thing. It just took me kind of a struggle to set all this up. Believe it or not, this headphone output is so weak that I have this set to high Z right now on a regular instrument input. And the gain is at about, if this was noon, it's at like 10 o'clock or something, right? So here's what it sounds like just with this Squier Affinity PJ bass with round wounds. This is what it's sounding like. So that's what the bass sounds like. Is it the greatest sound in the world? No, but for you to practice along with some tracks from your phone with headphones on, it sounds pretty good. It's fine. I'm using it all the time. Let me show you what it sounds like with a guitar and with some pedals, because yeah, you can use it that way. So what I've got here now is I've got just a standard stock Mexican Fender Telecaster. And I've got it plugged into my little project pedal board here with a few different effects. So let me show you what this sounds like. By the way, I'm a bass player, not a guitar player. I suck at guitar, but I can get the point across, I think, fine. So here's just a clean tone, right? It's actually not bad. Right? Let's throw on some fuzz from the Joyo fuzz, right? Told you I suck. Let's try the JHS Bonsai. Let's throw some reverb on there. There's a little reverb. How about the rat pedal? Let's try that with some reverb. So like I said, I suck at guitar, but I think you get what it sounds like, right? So yeah, this thing is really, really useful for both bass and guitar. I don't see it as being an issue one way or the other. I think you could buy this for either instrument and you would be fine. Oh, it's kind of noisy. I think these small headphone amps are a fantastic solution for practice. Although most modern amps do come with 3.5mm headphone and aux in and out jacks, having to use a big amp just isn't as convenient as having one of these small headphone amps. You can plug it into a battery-powered tuner to make a simple practice unit that you can take anywhere inside or outside your home you want to practice. If you're using a headstock tuner, you won't even need to do that. Quality-wise, it's what you would expect for such a low price. However, it doesn't seem much different on the outside from the amp plug. Will it last for 10 years like the amp plug? Only time will tell, but it will get its chance since it's a new daily practice amp now that my amp plug has stopped working. I think the only downside to this headphone amp is the low volume output, and it's a big problem, and it may make it unusable for anyone who doesn't own a pair of good closed-back isolation headphones. Other than that, it does what a headphone amp is supposed to do, and it meets my needs. I've noticed some new models of inexpensive guitar bass headphone amps being advertised that are following the outside case design and features of the cheap wireless units, such as having rotating quarter-inch plugs and USB charging. I think the next time I buy a headphone amp, I'm going to take a look at one of those. With the kids taking their guitars and basses more seriously and practicing on a more regular basis, I would guess that more of these are going to be needed here around the house soon. All right, folks, it's time for...
The Featured YouTube Artist of the Week! Yay!
This week's featured artist is Soda Fox. I recently met him when his band opened up for us. We got to talking and discovered we're both YouTubers. I checked out his channel and it's pretty cool. He's been releasing original music on his channel for years. He's a musician and recording engineer, and his music is well produced. A lot of it has a cool 1980s reverb vibe that I really enjoy. Let's all go to his channel, subscribe, listen to his music, and leave him some likes and comments. He's got over 5K subscribers, but we can help him increase that along with some more views and watch time. Let us know in the comments what you think about these small guitar and bass headphone amps, and if you have any experience with this one. How do you use them to practice? Do you plug into the guitar or hook other stuff into them like tuners? Again, we want to thank all of you who've been watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. The channel's been growing, and it's all thanks to you. Until next time, have a great day.